Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome to my book nook. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about Artemis Fowl. Now, in case you didn't know, a movie just came out on Disney Plus based on this book. I have been very excited about that. I first read Artemis Fowl like a long time ago. I actually read The Eternity Code first, which is apparently the third book. I was young, I didn't realize that I was reading the third book in a series. But I read this first book for the first time in 2016, and I still have not read all of the books, but I loved Artemis Fowl. Like, he's just such an interesting character. And so when I heard about the movie, I was excited. And then the movie came out. It was originally supposed to be in theaters, and then with the pandemic, instead of getting pushed back like a lot of other Disney movies, Disney decided they were just going to put it on Disney Plus. And, well, when you watch it, you can figure out why. Now, I'm not going to talk about whether or not this is a good movie or not, because, like, that's up to interpretation. Personally, I don't think it really is, because, like, it's really confusing, and doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I'm going to talk to you about how it's a terrible adaptation. Like, Percy Jackson level bad adaptation. So if you haven't watched the movie and you haven't read the books, or you don't want to know any spoilers, you do not need you should just stop watching now, because there's going to be spoilers. I'm going to be talking about what happens in the book, I'm going to be talking about what happens in the movie, and if you don't want to know those things, you should go. So in this book, this first book in the series, Artemis Fowl is 12 years old. He is the latest in a lineage of criminals. The Fowl family are criminals. And Artemis Fowl is 12 years old. He is a genius. He is a criminal mastermind. His father went missing last year. His mother has kind of just gone into like a crazy state ever since then. And so Artemis is kind of just like on his own to really do whatever he wants. That's what he's been doing with Butler, who isn't actually his butler. It's more like his bodyguard, but his last name is Butler. So Artemis, he is trying to get the family's fortune back. His dad kind of made some shady business deals, like, you know, they're criminals after all, and lost a lot of their money before he disappeared in an accident. And so Artemis has been doing all this research. He's realized that over the years there's been lots of talk of fairies, and it's just been going on for years and years and millennia, and he thinks that there's something to it. Artemis and Butler go off to some country, and they find a fairy, and they like blackmail the fairy into giving them the book. The fairy book, which has like all like the history and the rules and all the secrets of the fairies. And Artemis, being the genius he is able to translate this book and know all there is to know about the fairies. And he ends up kidnapping one of them, named Holly Short, and holding her for ransom for millions of dollars of gold. And that's the whole plot of the book. He wants the money. He's doing it for the money. He's doing it for the ransom. The leprechaun, it's like the fairy police force. Like, they come to like get Holly back. They do a time freeze. There's like, hell, there's no way Artemis can win, but he's Artemis Fowl. Of course, he's got a plan. He's always one step ahead. And it's a great book, except the movie is nothing like the book. It's nothing like the book. It's nothing like the book. And so I watched the movie, and I wrote down all of my thoughts, and we're gonna go over them. There's a lot. So let's talk about everything the Artemis Fowl movie got wrong from the books. Why is Fowl Manor by the ocean? The books never specifically really say like where Fowl Manor is, but they don't say it's by the ocean either. And that was like literally like the first shot, so I'm confused and already like, okay, this isn't gonna be good. Why is Mulch being arrested? Mulch is a dwarf, and he's like a big plot of the book, but he doesn't get arrested at the beginning of the book. That doesn't happen. Maybe it seems like maybe that like they're trying to do that to like explain like the prologue and epilogue from the book. Like, they have a prologue and an epilogue from in the book. Like, maybe that's what they're trying to do with, like, Mulch getting arrested. I don't know. Also, why is Josh Gad, who plays Mulch, narrating the entire thing? Like, it's annoying. Like, usually I don't mind Josh Gad's voice, but, like, the voice he's doing for Mulch is just annoying, and I don't need to hear it the entire time throughout the movie, narrating the movie, and just narrating so much wrong from the books. Why are we seeing Artemis in school when a big part of the fact in the books is that Artemis isn't going to school? And part of the reason he's okay with his mom being crazy is because if she was in the right mind, she'd be making him go to school, and then he wouldn't be able to do all these criminal activities. Oh, and why is Angeline Fowl, Artemis Fowl,'s mother, dead? Why is she dead? Why is she dead in this movie? That's not what happens at all. She's not supposed to be dead. I know that things happen in the future in the series that, like, Artemis's mom needs to be there. The kid playing Artemis Fowl I gotta give him props. He is doing a great job. When he is getting to play, like, the morally gray Artemis Fowl, which doesn't happen nearly enough, he does a spot-on job, and it's exactly how I imagine Artemis to be. So I will give the movie that there is that. Why do Artemis and his father have such a good relationship? Where did that come from? Artemis's father, well, for one, obviously in the books is missing, and, like, he's even like he's upset about it, but, like, he's not, like, overly upset about it, and it's like he seems like they don't really, like, have, like, the greatest relationship. Like, it's kind of like they're there, and, like, that's, like, it. So, like, why are they, like, super, like, close and buddies and all that in the movies? I don't understand. Why is Artemis Sr. the one working with the fairies? And the one teaching Artemis about the fairies? Like, Artemis in the books finds out about the fairies all on his own. Like, that doesn't happen that way. That's not how it is at all. Why is Artemis so, like, just emotional and, like, why? He's not like that in the books at all. Like, every time, like, he even, like, jokes in the book, he's like, I made a joke. Wow. That's weird. It's not the Artemis Fowl that I know. This is not the Artemis Fowl that I know at all. Why doesn't Artemis Fowl know about his dad's actions? Like, literally in the book, Artemis is the one to explain to everybody the fact that the Fowls have been, like, criminals throughout history. Like, oh my gosh. And this is one of the things that frustrates me the most. Why is Artemis and everyone else calling Butler, Domovoy? Like, yes, that is his name, but no, everybody calls him Butler in the books, and the movie makes it so that way. It's like, oh, you can't call him Butler, don't you dare, that's like, he'll kill you if you do that. I'm like, no, that's not what it is, that's not it at all. Every time they called Butler Domovoy in the movie, I wanted to throw something. In the movie, Artemis Sr. Is disappeared, and, like, Artemis has to save him, trying to make Artemis into the hero. And apparently, Artemis Sr. stole something from the fairies, and that's why he's missing. This isn't the plot at all. This is nothing like the book. Why is there hidden stuff in Fowl Manor? Artemis is a genius, and he knows everything. He would know about a hidden room under the floor. Like, he would know. Why does Butler suck? Why is he not written like Butler at all? Why did they whitewash Holly? Like, in the books, it says that she has, like, nut brown skin, and also, why did Disney make it, like, other than Foley, the only other dark-skinned characters are Butler and Juliet, and they are the servants. Good job, Disney. Who is this weird villain? The villain in Artemis Fowl is essentially Artemis Fowl. Like, essentially he is. There is no, Opal Colby or whatever apparently shows up in the second book. Like, that is a real villain in the Artemis Fowl universe, but not in the story that they're supposedly trying to tell, and I don't understand it. I mean, yeah, I get it. They're trying to make it so Artemis gets to be the hero. But Artemis is not a hero. That's not who Artemis Fowl is. I mean, I know that later in the books he turns into more of an anti-hero, but he is not a hero. What the heck is the Aculas? That's not even a thing. It's not even a thing. It's not. It's completely made up by Disney. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is different from the books. Like Commander Root is a woman now, which it's not bad. But it's still different from the books. I will say though that Judi Dench did a great job at playing Commander Root. Like, it's pretty much exactly how for the most part, it's how I imagine Commander Root to be. It's just that then they do other things. Why is Holly looking for her father? When did Holly? I mean, obviously Holly must have a father, but like, this is never a thing in the books. No, not a thing. Not part of the plot. Why is Root being kind to Holly? Why is Juliet 16? Okay, at least they kept Artemis being 12. Like, thank goodness. But Juliet is Butler's like cousin, and she is supposed to be 16. Why is this movie nothing like the books? It's so bad. Foley is spot on, I will say that, except for the fact that he's not as sarcastic, which is sad. Again, why is Holly's father a thing? Why is he a traitor who stole the Aculas? Why? Why is Commander Root so quick to do the time freeze? The whole, like, thing in the book is like, oh my gosh, we had to do a time freeze this one time, and like, Holly, you're in trouble for that. And it's like, they don't do a time freeze. Like, it's like kind of dangerous. It's risky for them, and like, it can make, no. Why is there no mention of the fairy rules? Actually, I wrote this down so many times. Like, there is little mentions of the fairy rules. There is little mention of the fairy book, but they don't explain what they are. It's like, oh, they're just there, but we don't know what they are. The movie doesn't explain them at all. And it's just like these offhanded comments about the fairy rules and the fairy book, and it's like, what are they? Why isn't the movie telling me? Why is the time freeze so wrong? The first time freeze, when they're fighting the troll, everybody is literally frozen. It's supposed to be that, so that way, like a time freeze, it's supposed to be everybody on the outside. Everybody inside the time freeze is just like stuck at a certain time, and everybody outside the time freeze is still going at normal time. Like, the people aren't supposed to be frozen. No. Why is Holly going to the tree for a completely different, like, sentimental reason? She's supposed to be going because she doesn't have magic and she needs to get her magic back, so she's gotta, like, plant an acorn in the ground. There's no mention of that at all whatsoever. One of my personal favorite parts of the movie is when Artemis is talking to Holly after they kidnap her and she's in her, like, cell. Because it's the one time in the movie he sounds exactly like how I imagine Artemis Fowl to be. That lasted like a minute, so. Why is the second time freeze different? Why is the time freeze with Artemis different? Why is it then that they're not frozen, and yet it was frozen the other time? Why is there a fight scene right after the time freeze? First of all, for most of the book, Artemis Fowl is like up in his like room with like all of his cameras, like just keeping an eye on everything. Because he's Artemis, because he sees everything and he knows everything. And yet in the movie, there's like probably 3 fight scenes that Artemis is a part of. Like, why did Artemis destroy the time freeze? That doesn't happen at all. The time freeze is supposed to be like his ace in the hole. They do have the negotiation scene, which is from the books, but like they do the whole like, oh, I invite you in, which is a part of like the fairy rules, but they don't explain it. And at least they do keep in Artemis's exact wording at the end of the negotiations, which is like, no fairy is allowed in as long as I'm alive. Except like they figure it out like right, like Commander Roots like notices it right away in the movie when it's supposed to take like 2 fairy psychologists like 4 hours to figure out like what's going on in Artemis's head with those exact words. Why is Mulch being there part of Artemis's plan? Artemis in the book, like the whole thing in the book is that, oh, Mulch being there is the surprise. It's the one thing Artemis doesn't expect. They do keep Mulch's confrontation with the goblins. So what are we up to, like 3 things that are accurate? Why did Artemis take off his glasses? The whole thing in the books is that they have to wear these glasses so the fairies can't like mesmerize them, and Holly's been like kidnapped for like 2 minutes and he takes off his glasses. And why is there all this backstory? And why are they trying to make Artemis into something that he's not? He doesn't wear his like glasses for the rest of the movie. It's so annoying. Also, why the heck did they add this plot where like Mulch is like a giant dwarf and that he wants to be smaller? That's so stupid. It was so incredibly annoying. The one part of the movie that actually made me laugh though was when Mulch compared Commander Root to David Bowie. Only line. Oh, another thing that was good is Mulch unhinging his jaw, and like that whole scene with him like eating the dirt. Like, yeah, that was exactly how I imagined it. So okay, what are we up to? I think 5. Now we're up to 5 things that are accurate. So wow. Oh, why is Mulch being so loud when he's going into the house? There's a whole like chapter in the book that is just about how Mulch is being so quiet because, you know, he does this for a living. He steals things. He knows not to be loud. Oh, yes, and now all of a sudden Artemis and Holly are working together because, like, their dads were buddies or something like that. Because it's a Disney movie, of course. They did keep Commander Root being undermined and then the troll being sent in, but, like, it happens completely different from the books, and, like, the guy who's doing the undermining is, like, working for Opal, and it's... What the heck? Why? And the magic jamming. Like, oh, we gotta jam the magic in the house. Like, that's gonna help anything. Pretty much everything that happens in this movie either didn't happen in the books or happens completely different. I hate how half the time Artemis doesn't seem like he knows what's going on, because that's not Artemis at all. He's always one step ahead of everybody. He always knows what's going on. They did keep Butler getting hurt, except it happened differently, and then like they had to like make it all dramatic and be like, oh my gosh, he's actually gonna die, and then Holly saves him last minute because they unjam the magic. And then the time freeze breaks, which doesn't happen at all. And then, oh, of course, they're friends forever. Stop it with the Disney crap. This doesn't happen in this book. Disney turned Artemis Fowl into a good-hearted, family-friendly movie, taking away everything that we love about Artemis Fowl and the fact he's just such a morally gray, complex, interesting character. Disney did that, and it makes me mad. Because this book is so interesting, and the movie is so not interesting. So read this book, please, because it's much, much better, and it's much, much more interesting, and I think you will like Artemis Fowl. And if you have already watched the movie and you haven't read the books and you think the movie was bad, you need to read the book because the book is better. So there you go. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if you've ever read Artemis Fowl. Let me know if you watched the movie. Let me know if you considered watching the movie and now you're like, oh no, I don't want to watch the movie. I want to know. I want to hear what you think. Tell me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like listening to me talk about books or do other stuff that involves books, subscribe to my channel because this is what I do. If you are not following me on Twitter at Sophie's Book Nook, you should go do that right now, because in the event that I have to mark a video made for kids, you will want to be following me on there to be sure that you know that I made a video. And I think that is it, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!